Folsom State Prison stands northeast of Sacramento, built of granite and steel in an era when incarceration is designed to control, not to heal. Construction begins in the 1870s, using inmate labor to raise walls meant to endure. From the start, the institution reflects a belief that order is created through force and permanence. The location is deliberate. It sits away from population centers, surrounded by open land and harsh terrain. Escape is intended to be unlikely. Resistance is expected to be punished. The prison opens in 1880 as one of the first maximum security facilities in the western United States. California is expanding fast, and the state wants a place to confine people convicted of violent crimes, repeat offenses, and those considered unmanageable elsewhere. Folsom is not designed for comfort or reform. It is designed for custody. The architecture makes that clear. Thick stone walls, narrow cell blocks, iron bars, and limited natural light define the early structure. Every design choice favors surveillance and restriction. Life inside is organized around strict schedules and enforced silence. Movement is controlled. Work assignments are mandatory. Early inmates quarry stone, maintain the grounds, and operate prison industries. Refusal brings punishment. Discipline is immediate and physical by the standards of the time. Solitary confinement is used often. Privileges are minimal. The message is constant and clear. Compliance is survival. If stories like this matter to you, consider subscribing, because what happens next reveals how this system truly works. Folsom gains a reputation quickly. Guards are given broad authority to use force. Firearms are standard equipment. For decades, the official policy authorizes officers to shoot escapees on sight. That policy is not theoretical. Records show multiple inmates killed during escape attempts, particularly in the early 20th century. Investigations are rare. Justification is routine. The prison's mandate is security above all else. Executions are part of Folsom's history. Before California centralizes capital punishment at San Quentin, Folsom carries out hangings inside its walls. The gallows operate as a formal extension of the criminal justice system. Executions are documented events, conducted according to state law, and witnessed by officials. They reinforce the institution's role as a place where the state exercises its most absolute power. Violence between inmates is persistent. The population includes individuals with long criminal histories, gang affiliations, and limited prospects for release. Overcrowding worsens tensions as the decades pass. Cells designed for one person sometimes hold two. Privacy does not exist. Conflicts escalate quickly. Weapons are improvised. Guards intervene with force, lockdowns, and segregation. Racial divisions shape daily life, especially after the mid-20th century. Informal hierarchies form along racial and gang lines. Alliances provide protection. Isolation invites danger. These structures are not officially sanctioned, but they are understood by staff and inmates alike. Control depends on maintaining balance without appearing to yield authority. The Great Depression increases pressure on the system. More people are incarcerated. Funding is limited. Conditions deteriorate. Food quality declines. Medical care is basic. Mental health treatment is minimal. Complaints are common, but avenues for redress are narrow. The prison remains focused on containment, not rehabilitation. Folsom becomes a symbol of punishment-first incarceration. This identity is reinforced by public perception. Media reports describe it as unforgiving and violent. Law enforcement officials cite it as a deterrent. Politicians reference it when advocating for tough sentencing. The prison's name becomes shorthand for severity. The 1950s and 1960s bring changes to American prisons, but Folsom adapts slowly. National conversations about prisoners' rights begin to emerge. Courts start to examine conditions of confinement. Even so, Folsom maintains rigid control. Lockdowns are frequent. Use of force remains common. Administrative segregation expands. In 1970, tensions erupt into one of the most significant incidents in the prison's history. Inmates seize control of parts of the facility and take hostages. The event exposes long-standing grievances over overcrowding, treatment, and lack of opportunity. The state responds with overwhelming force. Negotiations end. Control is reasserted. The uprising results in deaths and injuries, including the killing of a correctional officer. The aftermath leads to tighter security and more restrictive policies. Following the riot, California reviews its prison practices, but reforms are uneven. Folsom increases surveillance and limits inmate movement. Programs are added in name, but the core structure remains punitive. The prison continues to house high-risk individuals, many serving long or indeterminate sentences. Throughout the late 20th century, Folsom reflects broader trends in American incarceration. Sentencing laws grow harsher. The prison population increases. Rehabilitation takes a back seat to incapacitation. The culture inside remains tense. Violence does not disappear. It becomes managed rather than eliminated. Correctional officers work in a constant state of alert. Training emphasizes control and safety. Relationships between staff and inmates are formal and distant. Trust is limited. Incidents are documented, investigated internally, and often resolved within the system. Public scrutiny is minimal unless deaths or major disturbances occur. Folsom's physical structure reinforces its culture. Aging buildings are difficult to modernize. Narrow corridors and barred tiers limit flexibility. Visibility is both an asset and a risk. Officers rely on routine and numbers. Any disruption can spread quickly through shared spaces. The prison also becomes part of American cultural memory. Songs, books, and films reference its name. These portrayals vary in accuracy, but they reinforce the idea of Folsom as a place defined by hardness. The reality is more complex but no less severe. Daily life is governed by rules enforced without sentiment. In the 1980s and 1990s, California's prison system expands dramatically. Folsom remains a key facility within that network. It receives inmates transferred from other institutions due to behavior or security concerns. The population remains volatile. Lockdowns become a routine management tool. Healthcare improves incrementally due to court orders and public pressure, but resources remain strained. Mental illness is common among the incarcerated population. Treatment is often reactive rather than preventive. Suicide and self-harm occur, though official reporting varies by period. By the early 21st century, Folsom undergoes administrative changes. New facilities are added nearby to relieve overcrowding. Policies evolve under legal oversight. Use of force guidelines are revised. Oversight increases. Even so, the prison's fundamental identity does not change overnight. Folsom's history illustrates a specific philosophy of incarceration. Order is maintained through fear, predictability, and control. Individual circumstances matter less than institutional stability. The system prioritizes security, often at the expense of dignity. This approach has consequences. Long-term confinement under constant stress affects behavior and mental health. Violence becomes normalized. Compliance becomes transactional. Rehabilitation efforts struggle to gain traction in an environment built to suppress autonomy. The prison continues to operate today, older and more regulated, but still shaped by its past. Its walls carry the weight of more than a century of policy choices. Each generation of inmates inherits structures designed long before modern standards emerge. Folsom is not an anomaly. It is a product of its time and place. It reflects California's historical response to crime and punishment. Studying it reveals how systems evolve slowly, constrained by architecture, culture, and political will. The legacy of Folsom raises enduring questions. What is the purpose of incarceration? How much force is acceptable in maintaining order? Can institutions built on punishment adapt to values of rehabilitation and human rights? These questions remain unresolved. Folsom stands as evidence of a model that prioritizes control and endurance. It shows what happens when fear becomes a governing principle. Understanding this history is essential to understanding the present. Modern debates about prison reform, sentencing, and public safety trace back to places like Folsom. The choices made there continue to influence policy across the country. The prison story is not one of redemption or collapse. It is a record of continuity. A system built to last continues to do what it was designed to do: contain, control, endure.